How to stop caring about what others think. Imagine an audience that never bought tickets, never leaves, and never claps at the right time. It lives behind your eyes. In the middle of ordinary moments, ordering coffee, posting a thought, walking into a room, you feel it. A sudden awareness of being seen. Your gait adjusts. Your voice rehearses a polite version of you. You laugh a half second too late to prove you're easy. No one asked you to audition, and yet your life became a stage because the audience in your mind never goes home. Everyone says, simply stop caring. But how do you stop caring about the choir whose hymn taught your nervous system its rhythm? Attention is ancient currency. For most of human history, to be exiled from the group meant hunger, predators, silence. Caring what others think wasn't a personality fault. It was survival. Your bones remember. Your body hesitates at the edge of disapproval, like a deer feeling the air before stepping into a clearing. So blunt commands fail. You cannot bully a million years of social instinct into silence by telling it you're above embarrassment. There is a more interesting way. What if the problem is not that you care what others think, but that you've let the wrong others set up house in your mind? The crowd you imagine isn't neutral. It's a collage of teachers who praised compliance, a parent who measured your worth by politeness, a friend who survived by performing coolness so perfectly that you confused performance with personhood. You don't fear people. You fear a tribunal you built from memories. It is not the world's judgment you dread. It is the echo chamber of ghosts. History makes this visible in sharp relief. Step into a Greek amphitheater where honor is a public sport. A lost reputation is worse than death, because death happens once, while shame is daily. Wander into a medieval square and see the stocks a face displayed for mockery, punishment outsourced to the crowd. In honor cultures, the public eye is a god. In guilt cultures, the god moves inside, and you carry him into bed, into work, into the shower. We like to say we are modern, liberated from the tyranny of appearances. Then the phone vibrates, and your pulse tells you which century you belong to. Here is the first dangerous thought. The most powerful crowd is imaginary. It can be kinder or crueler than any room full of people, because you designed it by accident with the traits you feared most. You are both the actor and the director, both target and sniper. That is why stop caring feels impossible. You are trying to escape a room you built with your own hands and forgot the door. But you are also the architect who can draw a new floor plan. To stop caring in the way you mean it, for the fear to loosen its grip, for the 4A.M. Replay of conversations to quiet you must do something stranger than defiance. You must become intimate with the gaze that rules you, not to submit, but to understand. Who is it exactly that you're trying not to disappoint? Name them. Don't be noble about it. The truth will make you uncomfortable. It is supposed to. That discomfort is the sound of the old audience shifting in its seats. We are mythic animals, which means we turn every struggle into a story, whether we know it or not. They will laugh at me is not a statistic. It is a myth with a chorus of jeering faces. They will think I'm arrogant is not an objective forecast. It is a parable in which humility equals safety and success invites exile. You learned these myths early. Perhaps you were punished for being loud. Perhaps you were invisible until you were helpful. Perhaps love arrived only when you were funny. These myths are not evil. They were makeshift lifeboats. But lifeboats rot in the sun. You're still floating in one on a calm day, terrified of drowning. The second dangerous thought, you will never eliminate the social instinct, nor should you. The goal is not to become an island only the wounded fantasize about perfect isolation, but to choose your archipelago. Caring is not the problem. Indiscriminate caring is. The antidote to the faceless crowd is a face, or a few. A new audience, chosen with care, installed inside your mind to replace the tribunal of ghosts. Strong lives are not lived without witnesses. They are lived before witnesses worthy of the story. Consider the way we hand power to strangers. You write something true, and a nameless account with an animal for a profile picture snorts. You think of deleting your life. You walk into a room wearing a color you love, and you catch an eye rolling. You decide you are ridiculous. You give 99% of your attention to the 1% who are not even looking, not really. You do not know what they think, only that your fear can use them like marionettes. This is how the stage steals your voice. Not with real criticism, with imagined verdicts that you call reality. The path off that stage is older and slower than slogans. It begins in embarrassment. Real change often does. You will have to tolerate the electric sting of being misunderstood. You will have to practice the smallest defiance, speaking at a volume that reveals your actual pitch, asking a question you think a clever person already knows, admitting you cared, that you wanted, that you tried. Dignity returns when you let your life show a seam. We think courage will arrive first, like a suit we put on, and then, armored, we act. It works the other way. You act as if you were free, and courage arrives sheepishly afterward, wondering why you didn't wait. It's the same with indifference to opinion. You will still care and act anyway. This is not hypocrisy. It is rehearsal. If you want permission, history offers examples. A philosopher in Athens turns away from the applause of boys who want cleverness and writes in private to himself about death, about time, about how little control we have and how much we squander. A poet in Tang Dynasty China writes drunk on a boat to the moon. A painter in a cold northern studio ruins a commissioned portrait by painting the sky the way it actually looks after rain. These are not saints. They simply switched audiences. They stopped performing for the crowd and began to perform for their craft, their conscience, their God, their future. A life grows large in that move, not because the world stops watching, but because the watching ceases to be the point. The third dangerous thought: your life will not get easier when you stop caring. It will get heavier and more precise. You will trade one form of pain, the ache of hiding, for another, the ache of being seen as you are. The second is cleaner. It has fewer refunds. It puts your feet on the ground. If this sounds too noble, we can bring it down to something embarrassingly ordinary. Imagine the moment you catch yourself editing a sentence to look smarter. You stop. You write the plainer version, the truer one, and you let your inadequacy be met by silence. The silence does not kill you. Later, it becomes a room where your real voice lives. That is how it works most days. Micro acts of disobedience to your inner audience until the front row empties and you notice, finally, that you can hear your own thoughts without shouting. All of this begins with a question that feels simple and is not. Who taught you that the crowd is holy? Not in theory. In your house, in your school, in your first love. If you sit with that question long enough, a face will arrive. Maybe they meant well. Maybe they did not. Either way, you can hand the microphone to someone else. In every era, the crowd had a technology. For the Greeks, rumor. For the Romans, triumphs and humiliations paraded through streets. For medieval towns, bells were the signal that gathered judgment fast, then newspapers, then radio, then television. Now the crowd's favorite technology is in your pocket. It's blue light washing your face like a secular sacrament. The crowd once required a plaza. Now it lives in the palm of your hand. You hold the Colosseum, and you've been feeding it yourself. This sounds like scolding. It isn't. It's a description of a spell. Spells break when you learn the ingredients. The ingredients are simple. You are a creature wired to exchange attention for membership. The device offers you a steady drip of both, as long as you perform. Performance becomes identity. The crowd does not even have to be cruel. Its neutral gaze is enough. You feel the pressure to turn your day into content, and your content into a coin you can spend in the marketplace of belonging. One day you wake up and realize you have outsourced your sense of self to people who do not know your name. The danger isn't only external. There is an older stage inside you, built long before broadband. It has 3 acts. In the first, you learned which faces meant safety. In the second, you learned which versions of you those faces preferred. In the third, you became that version. If the faces changed, if you moved, if you succeeded, if you fell in love or out of it, the stage stayed. You kept handing new audiences the old script. They were baffled. You were enraged. You blamed them for a play they never auditioned for. I want to tell you a story that is not heroic. A young man called David grows up with a father whose love is a ledger. Achievements go in the credit column. Mistakes go double in debit. The ledger is never balanced. David moves through high school like a machine designed to harvest gold stars. He wins. He gets into the right school. He gets the right job. He is promoted. He is praised. The praise is like water poured through a sieve. He cannot hold it. He is polite. He is competent. He is known. He is beloved by acquaintances, trusted by bosses, and unknown to himself. And he blows it, not in a cinematic way. He misses a deadline, and the next. He lies. The lie grows hair. He is found out, demoted, shamed. His father calls and says, "I'm disappointed." David is at the bottom of the sea. The plot twist is not redemption. It is boredom. At the bottom, no one is watching. Without an audience, he discovers he cannot move. He thought he was addicted to success. He was addicted to the gaze that accompanies success. Without it, he is inert. Here is the subtle cruelty. Many of us think we want freedom, but we actually want a different audience, kinder, more sophisticated, more our vibe. We do not want to stop caring. We want to change whose opinion matters. This can be an upgrade. It can also be a trap with better furniture. Even the counterculture has a crowd. Even rebels know the choreography. The hair is different. The ritual is the same. So how do you unstage your life? It helps to study the old instruments of social control. In honor cultures, a single rumor could cost you everything. Reputation was a communal bank account. You could be wealthy in coin and poor in honor. The latter would drag the former down. Shame and gossip enforced the rules because in small groups, survival depended on predictability. Your modern mind rebels, says I am not a peasant in a small town, and yet your body reacts to a negative comment as if your fields were on fire. If you find yourself anxious about what a tiny circle thinks, it is not because you are foolish. It is because your nervous system still believes your life happens in a village where everyone remembers what you did yesterday. Zoom out further. There were cultures that tried to escape this trap. Stoics trained their attention on what is up to them: judgment, intention, action. They called the rest externals and practiced indifference to them. Easier to write than to do. But the practice reveals a trick. The less you can control something, the more it will try to borrow rent-free space in your mind. Attention is not free. Give it to what you can shape. Starve what you cannot. This isn't a slogan. It's a map of sanity. Then there is the philosopher of the crowd, who ruins everyone's good time. The one who says the crowd is untruth, that purity dissolves when we stand together and breathe the same air of certainty. He says, choose your single individual. That sounds like selfishness. It isn't. It's a reminder that truth in a life arrives one person at a time. One yes or no, one act that makes the social air noticeable because you stepped against its temperature for the first time that day. The crowd loves warmth. Integrity often makes you cold for a while. That is why it's rare. The psychology of it is not exotic. Mirror neurons, social pain overlapping with physical pain in the brain, reputational learning. You do not need jargon to know the feeling. A comment slices and you flinch as if you were burned. That's because a part of your brain cannot tell the difference. This means the work is not just cognitive. You cannot lecture yourself into calm while your body is convinced you've been stabbed. You have to give your body new data. You have to survive a dozen small social discomforts and not die, and let your nerves record the miracle. We lived. Meanwhile, notice how your inner audience behaves when you are alone. Do you rehearse conversations that never happened? Do you scour your day for clues that you were ridiculous? Do you deliver imaginary speeches to invisible juries who apparently never sleep? This is not pathological. It is practice for a contest that may never occur. The only way to win is not to play, not because you are better than games, but because your life is too short to spend it memorizing lines for a theater that exists only in your skull. Even empires were haunted by an audience. Ancient kings hired court fools to mock them so they wouldn't drift too far from the ground. Citizens of Rome shouted at generals in their triumphs, a ritual of humility masquerading as celebration. Monasteries drilled into novices the thought of their own death, the ultimate crowd disperser. All these practices had a point. The human mind inflates under applause and collapses under scorn. We needed contraptions to regulate our size. You can borrow that wisdom without the costumes. Try a thought experiment, not as therapy, but as a way to turn the lights on. Imagine that you are allowed only 5 opinions that matter, 5 internal seats on your advisory council. Who gets them? A parent, the one who loved you, or the one who saw you? A friend, the one who makes you brave, or the one who makes you clever? Your future self at 70? Your childhood self at 7? The dead? A teacher whose voice did not tremble when they told you the truth? Seat them. Feel the quiet scandal of evicting everyone else. When the faceless crowd knocks later, you won't need to shout. You can point at the sign, "Council in session, by appointment only." The suspense in all of this is not whether you can do it. You can. The suspense is whether you will tolerate the gap between deciding and feeling. For a while, you'll still feel the hot flush of disapproval, even as you choose otherwise. That gap is where most people run back. They say, "It didn't work. I still care." They confuse caring with obedience. Caring can remain while obedience ends. That's called adulthood. We are close to a hinge. The hinge is the moment you recognize that indifference to the wrong eyes is not a posture you strike. but a theology you live. Theology, not religion. A set of assumptions about what is ultimate. Who gets to name you? What counts as success if no one claps? How much of your time belongs to a harvest for other people's impressions? Your answers are already visible in your calendar. If you don't like them, do not recite a new creed. Move 1 hour. The perspective shift lands like a stone in water. The goal is not to stop caring what others think, but to decide which others deserve space in your mind and let the rest pass like weather. That sounds neat. Life is not neat. The deeper revelation is that the harshest others are in you. Before you can uninstall the crowd, you have to face your own gaze, the internalized critics and judges who learned their lines long ago. Call them what you like. The committee, the superego, the board of governors. The ancient Stoics called them impressions. The Buddhists call them hungry ghosts. Modern psychology might say internalized voices. I prefer to think of them as a chorus whose song was once a lifeline and has now become a curse. Don't be too much saves you when too much draws punishment. It strangles you when your aliveness requires volume. Be agreeable protects you when disagreement is dangerous. It poisons you when your craft demands a decisive no. The trick is not to kill the chorus. It is to assign solos wisely. How do you do that without turning your mind into a battlefield? You appoint a conductor, not the fragile ego that performs for snacks. A different authority. Think of it as your inner council of three: craft, conscience, and care. Craft asks, is it true? Is it well made? Is it yours? Conscience asks, is it good? Does it harm? Does it honor what you know? Care asks, does this nourish the living body that carries you? Does it allow you to remain a person among people? If a decision pleases none of these three, but wins wild applause, you have your diagnosis. You are buying belonging with your life. This is where the historical mirror helps. Reputation used to be a village's vote on whether you could be trusted. Now reputation is a commodity you can purchase with attention. The village is gone. The economy remains. If you are not careful, you will become a brand, which is a skin you can never peel off without losing sections of yourself. Unbranding is messy. It means remembering that a person cannot be optimized into lovability. It means making things that are not strategic. It means silence when speech would get you claps you do not want to live with. Your brain will protest. It prefers the mathematics of likes and the warmth of herd certainty. It wants metrics. The soul offers different metrics. Did you say what you mean, even if your voice shook? Did you waste less time rehearsing your alibi? Did you disappoint the right people today? Did you make something that would still matter at your funeral? These are not rhetorical. They are measurements the inner council can use to push back against the crowd's weather report. Then there is the gaze you cannot escape, your own tomorrow. Most of us bargain with strangers and forget the one witness who never leaves, the future self who has to live inside the choices you make on their behalf. If you can make that witness visible, you will find a new kind of courage. Picture them not as a god with a ledger, but as a tired, wiser friend who will carry the consequences. Would they thank you for the hour you spent in a comment thread? Would they recognize themselves in the joke you made to avoid silence? Would they feel at home in the room you're decorating with your decisions? A deeper layer still, the dead, the ones who didn't get to live this long, the ones who sat in cramped rooms wishing for a sliver of your freedom. When you're tempted to steer by the crowd's opinion, place one of them in your inner audience. Let them watch you choose. The living crowd recedes when we remember we are in a longer procession. You are temporary. That thought will not make you careless. It will make you specific. Philosophers of the gaze have been warning us for centuries. The existentialists said that being seen can turn you into a thing. The cure was not to retreat into privacy forever. It was to insist on subjecthood, even when eyes are on you, to act from choice rather than from the angles at which you are being observed. This is not abstractions. It is the difference between writing a sentence because it pleases your counsel, craft, conscience, care, and writing a sentence because you can hear how it will sound in someone else's mouth later when they approve of you. The first builds a life. The second builds a performance that leaves you empty behind the curtain. There is also the tribe within the crowd, your family myth. Every family has one. Some worship achievement and treat failure as banishment. Some prize loyalty to the point of suffocation and treat differentiation as betrayal. Some do both at once and call it love. When you begin to alter your relationship to public opinion, you will sooner or later defy the family myth. Expect the alarms. The myth has kept people safe, or at least coherent. You are tugging at threads older than you. The fear you feel is not just yours. It is ancestral. Let that sobering fact make you gentle, not cowardly. You can grieve their rules without obeying them. Now for the most radical move. Exchange the crowd's weather vane for a compass. A vane spins. A compass points. A vane tells you what others are blowing at you. A compass tells you where north is regardless of wind. Your compass is made of 3 needles: your values, your taste, and your limits. Values are the non-negotiables you test with behavior, not slogans. Taste is the discerning muscle that knows what feels like you in art, in friendship, in work. Limits are the humane boundaries that keep your animal body from being used up by the perfect idea of you. Put these needles in your pocket. Check them, not the sky. All of this sounds noble until it meets the hour you most dread, a moment of public risk, hitting send. Walking on stage, saying the unsaid in a small room with big consequences. Here's the quiet practice that changes everything. Place the inner counsel behind you, literally, if you like, in your imagination. Put craft to your left, conscience to your right, care at your back. Feel their hands on your shoulders. Look out at the faceless crowd. Some will love you. Some will misunderstand. Some will not notice. The hands remain. You speak from that contact. When the shock of response comes later, praise that tempts inflation, criticism that tempts collapse, you turn around and ask the counsel whether anything essential has changed. If not, you return to work. The crowd hates to be ignored. It will howl. That is how you know you are learning something. But what about kindness? Isn't that caring how others feel the doorway to cruelty? No. Cruelty comes from treating people as instruments for your performance. Indifference to the wrong opinions frees you to love specific people with specific attention. You stop trying to impress everyone and start trying to serve someone. You become boring to the crowd and vivid to your circle. That is a compliment in a century that confuses notoriety with meaning. Let's retrieve one more tool from the attic: ridicule. We fear it like fire. Once being mocked could ruin a life. In small circles it still can. But ridicule is a diet that feeds on your imagination. What is the worst that would happen if strangers called you pretentious, or dull, or naive? You would feel heat in your face. Your stomach would clench. Your brain would invent a loop. And then the hours would pass. You would eat dinner. The radiator would click on. Tomorrow you would remember a line from a book that made you brave once, and you would show up again. If you do this a few times on purpose, ridicule loses its teeth. You become hard to hurt. The world becomes quieter, not because it calms down, but because the microphones you held up to it are resting on the table where they belong. The perspective you must guard is not new, but it is rare. Your life is not a referendum. It is a series of promises you make and keep, and sometimes break and repair. The crowd does not care whether you keep them. It cares whether you are interested. The people who matter care whether you are honest. The person you must live with cares whether you are whole. Attend to them in that order: honesty before interest, wholeness before applause, and the rest becomes weather again. There is a cost stepping off the stage, and if you don't name it, it will ambush you. The cost is loneliness. Not permanent, not total, but real. The hours you used to fill with performing will feel empty. The feedback loop will go quiet. Your hands will reach for the old levers. There won't be any. This is withdrawal, not from people, but from the drug of imagined eyes. We do not talk about this because we prefer narratives where the hero stops caring and immediately finds peace. Peace arrives later, like a cat that visits only when you pretend you didn't want it. First comes a grief you didn't anticipate. Grieving the version of you that kept everything humming by being palatable. Stand at a window at night in an apartment above a city block, or in a kitchen in the country where the only light is your own. Place on the counter the rituals of belonging: your phone, your plans to attend a thing you do not want, the urge to say yes, to avoid the soft violence of being thought difficult. Watch them for a minute as if they were artifacts in a museum. The label reads, "Tools used to survive a culture that confuses noise with life." Then, do something small and subversive. Turn off the light. Light a candle. Ask a question out loud. What would my day look like if I owed no performance? Not zero kindness, not zero duty, not zero work. Zero performance. The answers that rise may embarrass you with their simplicity. Drink water slowly. Read for 20 minutes without harvesting a quote. Send a message to one person telling them the true thing instead of the impressive thing. Decline an invitation without a lie. Go for a walk without calculating steps. None of these make content. All of them make a life. The absence of witnesses is the point. In this silence, your nervous system uncurls a little. The part of you that has been on stage since childhood, blinking against the lights, sits on the floor and leans its head against your leg. You are teaching it that the show can end and the building does not burn down. But there will also be the other cost, friction with the living. When you stop caring about the wrong opinions, you will disappoint people who profited from your compliance. This is not melodrama. It's physics. Systems resist change. A friend texts guilt when you don't reply within the hour like you used to. A colleague treats your new boundary as a personal attack. A parent contorts concern into control. If you are prepared, you won't return to the stage to soothe them. You will name what is happening. I changed a rule. You don't like the new rule? We can talk. The rule remains. You will feel cruel because the crowd taught you that love equals availability. It doesn't. Love equals attention plus truth. When the pangs strike, remember this. Your task is to become unpopular with the wrong parts of you, not with people. You will feel like a traitor to your former self. You are. Every initiation requires betrayal of an old allegiance. Betray the allegiance, not the people. You can remain gentle as you choose. You can say, I know this surprises you. It surprises me too. I'm not a different species. I am trying to stop being a weather vane. The ones who can love you will learn your new shape. The ones who can't were loving your performance. Releasing them is not cruelty. It is refusing to barter your days for approval that expires by nightfall. There is a strange sweetness on the other side of this. It tastes like bread, ordinary, sustaining. You sit with someone who does not need you to be entertaining. You laugh at a joke that doesn't travel. You work through an afternoon without narrating it in your head like a show. You say you're tired, can you go home? You say you're sad, and you let your face show it. Your inner counsel begins to hum softly. Their song is not a chant. It is a bass line you can walk to. After a while, you stop hearing it and discover you are living it. Still, the old fear is clever. It will shape-shift. It will tell you that if you stop caring what others think, you will become arrogant, sloppy, monstrous. You will become a man who refuses to apologize, a woman who steamrolls, a friend who ghosts, an artist who mistakes obscurity for depth. This fear deserves an answer. The answer is practice. You practice measuring yourself by your compass values, taste, limits, and by the inner counsel, craft, conscience, care. If you're slipping into monstrosity, these will tell you. Egos inflate in the vacuum left by silence. Keep company with people who tell you the truth without enjoying it. Let them into your 5 seats. This is how freedom doesn't turn you feral. A detour through the monastery. In some orders, novices wore a belt with 3 knots: poverty, chastity, obedience. We do not need those words. We can borrow the knots. Tie 3 of your own: honesty, humility, hospitality. Honesty, to end the exaggerations you use to buy love. Humility, to remember that you are just a person in a world of larger and smaller waves. Hospitality, to welcome the parts of you that show up messy and needy instead of banishing them to the balcony. The crowd cannot tolerate these knots because they anchor you to things that do not register in its metrics. Tie them anyway. Tug them when the room gets loud. A return to the body, because if you abandon it here, you will drift back to performance by nightfall. Caring what others think is not just an idea. It's a tightening in the throat, a narrowing of the eyes, a clench in the hands you cannot release. When you feel it, treat it as a bell, not a warning. More like a teacher calling class to attention. Pause. Breathe into the space the bell shows you. Touch the counter. Feel the ground under your feet. Say a sentence under your breath that returns you to your size. I am not in court. I am in a conversation. The dignity of this kind of attention cannot be overestimated. It turns panic into presence. Presence is unmarketable. It is also the beginning of sovereignty. Then, a gentler practice. Watch a child in a park or a dog trying to distinguish between play and real danger, or a tree indifferent to the number of eyes it pleases. None of this is an argument. It is a tuning fork. Your body knows when it is in the presence of unperformed life. It remembers. People who perform their days like theater are exhausting to stand next to. You know this because you are exhausted by yourself when you do it. Gift yourself the company of the unperformed. Your inner audience grows quieter in those rooms. Finally, understand that this work is slow because it is sacred. Sacred does not mean solemn. It means careful attention to the right things. To stop caring about what others think is a glib banner. To live a life shaped by your chosen witnesses is a liturgy. It will ask you to say no 100 times to what would make you briefly luminous, and yes, 100 times to what will make you free. One day, if you keep at this, you will find yourself at a party or a meeting or a wedding, and the old sensation will arrive, a sudden self-consciousness, the prickle of being seen, the urge to shape-shift into the version that earns the easiest nods. You will wait for your rescue, the laugh, the comment, the gracious deflection. It won't come. It won't need to. Something else will be there instead. A quiet like the sound of snow. In that quiet, you will remember that you are not on stage. You are in a room full of humans, and you are one of them. You will not perform. You will participate. It will feel like a small miracle. It is. The crowd will not disappear. The world will keep announcing itself with trumpets made of numbers. You will still occasionally hand the microphone back to the wrong judge and feel your face flush when they use it. Forgive yourself quickly. Don't make a religion out of relapse. Return to your counsel. Return to your compass. Return to the handful of faces you chose for your inner seats. If you can, return to a task that requires your hands. Hands are honest. They cannot perform without telling on you. The last tether to cut is the one between silence and irrelevance. You've been trained to believe that if you are not constantly visible, you are gone. It's not true. You can step back for a week, for a month, for however long it takes to hear yourself again, and the people who are yours will still be there. The others were never yours. This is not cynicism. It is how you stop confusing audience with attachment, spectacle with communion. There are practices that belong only to you, small oaths you whisper when the air feels thin. You can borrow mine and write your own. I will disappoint strangers before I betray my craft. I will choose sleep over performative competence. I will let those who misunderstand me do so, without sending explanation after explanation, as if I were applying for permission to be alive. I will judge success by the mornings. I wake unafraid of my own reflection. I will be loyal to the ones who know my real face. I will let the unchosen crowd pass like weather, a change in light I notice and then forget. History will not remember your moments of not performing. No statue will be raised for the day you didn't lie to seem interesting, for the joke you didn't tell to keep the room warm, for the meeting where you said, "I don't know," and the world didn't end, but your life will remember. It will knit itself around those moments like a vine choosing a trellis. You will sleep more deeply. You will startle less. You will find yourself laughing alone in your kitchen because something actually funny happened, not because you've learned the right sound. There is a smaller and stranger joy too, becoming boring in the best sense. The self that revolved around attention becomes unremarkable, and in its place grows a person with odd habits and steady loves. You will become the one who leaves a party early and is better for it, who reads the book slowly and remembers the plot, who holds a gaze a little longer because you are not scanning the room, who changes the subject to the tenderness under the sarcasm and doesn't apologize afterward. The crowd will have no use for you. You will be finally available to the people who do. When fear returns in the middle of the night, and it will, you can picture a hallway with many doors. On each, a name. Expectations, applause, reputation, envy, gossip. You have keys to some, a skeleton key to none. At the end, a door with your name. It opens inward. The room is not glamorous. It has a desk, a chair, a window. Outside the window, weather. Inside, your tools. On the desk, a small framed photo of the ones who sit on your inner council. On the chair, the coat you actually wear, not the one that photographs well. Sit. Begin. When the crowd pounds on the doors behind you, let the sound exist. You are busy. If you need a sentence to carry in your pocket, for the moments when the old audience screams, let it be this: I will not make a shrine of strangers' eyes. The shrine belongs to what I am shaping in the dark with the few who can help me see. Say it under your breath in the elevator, walking into the room, opening the message. The spell breaks when you remember that you are not property of the public air. And if the thought creeps in, who am I without the curve of their approval, without the glow of being liked? Answer with the oldest news of all. You are the same thing you were when no one knew your name. A pulse moving through time, a person with breath and a limited number of days, a creature who can choose where to look. You do not owe your face to a market. You owe your life to the few who will sit with you in the unlit hours, and to the work you will leave behind when the lights go out. If this opened your eyes, subscribe to Boring History, because the truth is never boring.